in the region of $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh, my Lord.
In her family for generations, probably bought by her great-aunt who traveled to many places and made grand tours, this is how this wonderful piece by Charles Theodore Ferrer came to America. The painting is from circa 1850, an example of the Orientalist school made in oil canvas. Charles was a neoclassicist and lived in the 19th century's rage of Orientalism, adding a tremendous historical value to this piece and many others of his. A beautiful painting representing an Oriental market must have had tremendous value, but how much is it worth?
And conservatively today, I would easily expect in the region of $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh, my Lord. Does that mean I have to get it insured?
You might want to do that. Thanks for bringing it.
Wow, I'm just blown away.
When her grandmother's house was getting a general appraisal, this painting got valued at $200. But on the show, it got a super high value, and that made her break down in tears.
I don't even know what to say.
She inherited the painting after her grandmother passed, and just as she was prepping it to take it to college, she realized that it could be something valuable. The painting was done by Henry Francois Farney, a France-born American painter whose works were mainly based on the lives of Native Americans. Henry's close association with Native Americans influenced his painting style.
He did eventually spend a lot of time with the Sioux Indians, and they did adopt him and gave him the name Long Boots.
For a painting that was appraised at $200, the owner was amazed when the appraiser said,
I would suggest an estimate of $200,000 to $300,000.
Oh my God. That's so much.
Guest recalled fond memories of acquiring a sculpture given to him as a gift by his boss about 40 years ago. The item was identified as a beaded bird sculpture made by Finnish artist Kapainen. The appraiser mentioned that Kapainen was a top artist in the Arabia Company in Helsinki, Finland. The artist had designed various items such as plates and vases. This piece was entirely handmade and showcased the artist's skill. It exemplified modern design with its intricate beadwork, each bead hand-glazed by the artist. Due to its rarity and artistic significance, the value suggested for the piece was,
we would probably put an estimate of maybe $10,000 to $15,000.
Unsure whether this birdcage aquarium would still function properly, the show's appraiser chose to give it a very conservative value. The item was built by the guest grandfather, who was an iron worker in New York. Nicknamed Monstrosity by the guest family because of its heavy weight, this item was indeed heavy due to the amount of metal used to craft it.
And that really takes us back into a time in America where we had much more focus on the mechanical arts.
The birdcage above was joined by an aquarium below. Together with the item, the guest brought a sketch of it that showed how intricately crafted the piece was. However, due to the uncertainty surrounding its likelihood to function like before, it received a value of $3,000 to $5,000. A beautiful painting of Mount Chakarua was brought to the show by the guest. It was created by a prominent figure named Benjamin Champney. The appraiser shared details about the artist's early life and career. Champney was a well-known artist from the White Mountain School of Art. The painting was estimated to have been created in the 1880s based on its style and level of detail.
B. Champney, it is not dated.
The appraiser noted that Champney's earlier works typically featured more intricacy than this one. Considering the various aspects, the retail value suggested for the artwork was?
It would probably be about $8,000.
That's amazing.
The State Historical Society of North Dakota features a collection of pictographs by Hunkpapa leader Joseph No Two Horns, depicting events from his life as a warrior. Born around 1852, Joseph lived a long life and began his warrior days at 14, becoming a mature warrior by the Battle of the Little Bighorn. This pictograph depicts a crucial battle moment when his horse was wounded, symbolizing his dedication as a Kit Fox Society member to fight fiercely to protect himself or his comrade. The shield depicted in the pictograph, likely a replica of his actual shield, was conceived in a vision and depicts a thunderbird, symbolizing protection and strength. Joseph's ledger drawings, often on scraps provided by officers, are highly valued. His known identity and historical significance could fetch $15,000 to $20,000.
It's always amazing to hear the story and the history of the pieces that we're talking about, but to be standing next to the actual pieces. Thanks so much for sharing them with us.
Mark, thank you very much.
Who wouldn't want to bring out their finest dishes to serve food when hosting parties? In the cabin that the guest grandfather bought, they found this decorative platter. The platter, which was referred to as Metlock, was made in Germany by Villeroy and Bach. As opposed to what the guest initially thought, the platter was in the Art Nouveau style, and the person behind its design was a French painter, Charles René Thevenin.
And the plaque is 2542. It's one of a pair. And so there's another one that looks very similar to this.
With the popularity of the platter among Metlock collectors, its value was
around $3,000 to $4,000.
That makes my day.
The owner will surely need to guard it closely from now on when using it at parties. The guest spotted this bowl at a sale, and it caught her eye. The guest paid $10 for it. It's indeed from Hawaii, but what's remarkable is its age, possibly from the late 18th century. Handmade, the bowl underwent a meticulous process that involved shaping in swamps and scraping with hot coals. The bowl features unique metal repairs, unlike the typical wood repairs. Despite some visible repairs, efforts were made to preserve its integrity. Wood is likely Milo, not koa wood, which adds to its rarity. Early bowls like this have a distinct dull matte surface, displaying their age. The rim bears the marks of time, confirming its age. Its retail value would be?
A retail price for this would be about $5,500.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At first glance, it looks like a set of ordinary dining room chairs. At least that's what the guest thought when he bought the set 20 to 25 years ago. Upon close inspection, it's inscribed on the bottom, Reproduction by Tiffany Studios. The reproduction of these Chippendale-style chairs was done by Tiffany Studios. Tiffany Studios was an American decorative arts company established in 1885. Tiffany Studios became renowned for its production of stained glass windows, lamps, glass mosaics, blown glass, ceramics, jewelry, enamels, and metalwork. The real credit for the artwork and design of this furniture belongs to the renowned British cabinet maker Thomas Chippendale. With its distinctive silhouette and refined craftsmanship, the Chippendale furniture has remained a symbol of timeless luxury and sophistication. High-quality woods like walnut and mahogany were used to create these pieces, which perfectly capture the refinement of the English Rococo style of the 18th century. This style is evident in the intricate and ornamental carvings of ornate motifs and Rococo features, a ribband back appearing as a flowing ribbon and rippled bows as displayed on the presented chairs. A reproduction of Chippendale furniture in Rococo style with an intricate design by the Tiffany Studios, showcasing the quality and brilliance of 18th century style, should be worth about.
So if these were to come to auction, I would appraise them about $400 or $500 a chair.
Thanks. I know much more now than I...
This is a scrimshawed whalebone diddy box, likely made by a sailor around 1830 to 1840. It's a prized possession with a fascinating history. Originally owned by the guest father's cousin, who lived in Asia from 1915 to 1936, the box was given to the guest in 1960. Adorned with intricate floral arrangements and a small memorial scene, the box showcases exquisite craftsmanship and is made from the jawbone of a sperm whale. Despite its uncertain origin and journey, the box's rarity and design contribute to its value, estimated to be between $6,000 to $8,000 in today's market.
Wow. I had no idea. That's why I brought it. As I say, I got it in '60, and I knew nothing about it, so that's why I come to Roadshow. I wanted to learn something.
This is a manuscript poem authorized by the iconic Oscar Wilde. Here's the intriguing story behind this amazing piece.
I worked for a woman when I was in college, taking care of show dogs that she had. She approached me one day and she said, "I know you're an English major, you'd like this," and she handed it to me.
Christian Goss, the father-in-law of the guest employer, received it during the Dreyfus trial in Paris. The poem, titled Ideal Love, a Sonnet, is a known work by Wilde, and The New Remorse was dedicated to his lover, Lord Alfred Douglas, in 1891. Wilde's tumultuous life, marked by persecution for his lifestyle and imprisonment, adds substantial historical weight to this manuscript. The manuscript's value years ago received estimates in the range of $5,000 to $6,000. Considering the historical significance, the appraiser confidently estimates the manuscript's value at...
We put an auction estimate conservatively of $10,000 to $15,000 today.
Great.
This unique musical instrument makes its way to the show. This dulcitone was bought from a friend by the guest for $900. The dulcitone was made by Thomas Machell in Glasgow, Scotland, in the early 1900s. The cabinets are made of oak, and the keys appear to be made of plastic. Machell, who is the inventor of this unique instrument, made the first dulcitone in the 1860s. He spent most of his early days working as a piano tuner.
It's kind of telling that a piano tuner would invent essentially a piano that doesn't need tuning.
An estimated amount of about 2,000 dulcitone were made. This instrument, which is still in very good condition, has the appraiser value it for about...
made. In its current condition, which is remarkably clean and playable, I would expect a retail value of $2,000.
Nice, yeah.
The guest aunt, Renee Thornton, who was the Duchess of D'Andrea of Italy, received this diamond ring when she got engaged to the Duke of Italy.
I mean, it must have been an amazing engagement ring.
Yeah,
I mean,
can you
just the
imagine?
size of it. I can't. I mean, it's so sweet, the heart, and then obviously the crown up top.
Years later, the guest mother inherited it, but didn't fancy it as an engagement ring. So she turned the ring into a pendant. The positioning of platinum and yellow gold on the ring indicated that it was an early 20th century piece weighing about 20 carats in diamonds. With the maker's mark missing, it was difficult to determine its origin. And although that was the case, this ring still valued at
$20,000.
Are you kidding me?
The host presented Field Trip, Architecture Remnants. This is the arch that served as the entrance to the old Chicago Stock Exchange, designed in 1893. Some buildings are still standing, but many buildings no longer exist, like the Chicago Stock Exchange. Standing in front of this incredible elevator bank from the first floor of the Chicago Stock Exchange, built by the Adler and Sullivan firm, Louis Sullivan was the father of the modern skyscraper. It's a symphony of motifs from the period, and it's a classic Sullivan. When the building was demolished, sadly, in 1972, some survived. Frank Lloyd Wright, one of his most famous students, undoubtedly is one of America's greatest architects. This work was built for the Avery Coonley Playhouse in Riverside, Illinois. He called it the Kinder Symphony. Kinder Symphony was appraised for a $400,000 range or more.
Well, it's just beautiful, as are all of the architectural relics you see here in the museum, but you certainly picked two wonderful ones to showcase. Thanks so much, Lee.
The guest came with a New Orleans folding map. He brought this map of the city of New Orleans in 1845 and was a student in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's a hand-colored lithograph from 1845. It's a folding map. It's in very nice condition. Any pre-Civil War American folding maps are particularly collectible. The map appraised for $3,500 to $4,000.
Excellent.
The owner's grandmother left her these chairs from her mid-century modern house in Texas.
These were in her fancy living room, and we were never allowed to sit in them except at Christmas or family photos.
Covered in green upholstery, they were a bit worse for sitting when the owner got them. Surprisingly, the owner's cat took an immediate liking to these chairs. Unlike in grandmother's house, they're well used now. These chairs are mid-century modern, made of teak by Adrian Pearsall. Pearsall founded Kraft and Associates in the 1950s. These chairs likely date back to the 1960s. Mid-century modern is a hot trend among young collectors. Prices for such pieces have soared in recent years. Previously considered second tier, they are now in high demand. These chairs stand out for their graphic and sculptural design. The appraiser estimates their value at
auction today. These two chairs, just these two chairs, would probably bring between $2,500 and $3,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
Posthumous gift from his next-door neighbor, who got it from his Uncle Harry, who lived close to Fenway Park. This beautiful baseball is said to have been a gift from the Yankees. The ball is signed by 21 team members, matching the team configuration in 1928, plus a signature from Matty Matthews, probably a friend of the players. The ball is very well preserved, and so are the signatures, including that of Babe Ruth. The ball is quite valuable, but not as much as the owner thinks.
That had 20 signatures, and this one has 22, for about $150,000. So that's as close as I could get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much is it worth?
Your ball at auction would sell for between $25,000 and $35,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That's excellent. That's excellent. Like I say, it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Today's presentation features a stunning oil portrait by Ione Camargo. Ione Camargo, a renowned Brazilian artist, left an indelible mark on modern art with his expressive paintings, characterized by vibrant hues, dynamic brushstrokes, and profound emotional depth. This particular artwork depicts our guest and was created during her visit to Camargo's residence.
I didn't realize he was doing something on the side, which was me.
The piece embodies the quintessence of Camargo's style: bold colors, lively brushwork, and a profound emotional resonance. On the reverse side of the painting, written in Portuguese, is the name of the city where it was created, along with the date and Camargo's signature.
It says Ione Camargo, Porto Alegre is a city down south of Brazil, 7 August 1982.
This oil-on-canvas masterpiece exemplifies Camargo's unmatched ability to infuse raw emotion and intimate depth into his art. Following the footsteps of many artists of this era, Camargo traveled to Europe in 1948 to study the works of the great masters. The influence of Di Chirico, Carlo Petrucci, and André Lotte is evident in this portrait.
Here in the portrait, Di Chirico specifically was a large influence, as was the Italian painter Carlo Petrucci and André Lotte.
With its masterful play of texture and color, this painting echoes Camargo's distinctive style. Its captivating beauty invites reflection, showcasing his profound grasp of form and emotion. Conservatively, its value would fall within the realm of...
At auction, we think conservatively the value is in the realm of $12,000 to $18,000.
That's more than I expected. That's very nice.
A guest showcased a portrait featuring his father, painted by the renowned artist Robert Rauschenberg. The guest's father became friends with Rauschenberg during their Navy service in 1945. Rauschenberg painted the portrait after expressing interest in art during a day off from duty. Later, the guest grew up with the portrait hanging on the wall. The guest also brought the photographs of his father and Rauschenberg together during their Navy days. Rauschenberg began painting portraits right after his naval service. The appraiser shared details about Rauschenberg's early life.
He was born in Texas, he studied pharmacology, and then later he was drafted into the service.
And identified him as one of the most important American artists of the 20th century. The authenticity of the portrait was confirmed by one of the photographs from Rauschenberg's studio, adding to its historical significance. How much would this item be worth?
Put a conservative auction estimate of $40,000 to $60,000 on it.
Holy cow, are you kidding me? I guess it was worth more than that $2 picture right next to it. Oh, amazing.
Originally made to serve as a vase, this item was turned into a hiding spot for Easter eggs. The piece was passed down for years in the guest mother's family. It was a Japanese vase called gu, which was an imitation of an earlier piece that was used to hold wine.
It was conceived by an artisan, a designer, who said, I'm going to make this fabulous bronze vessel.
The shape of the vase was inspired from an old Chinese bronze Zun. On the body of the vase were attractive stylized designs, which were usually found in early period pieces. Pieces of this kind didn't value a lot of money, but because the guest piece was wonderfully made, it valued at
$1,000 to $1,500 at auction.
I'm stunned by what you told me.
This magnificent jewelry item was gifted to the guest by her doting husband, who paid a steep price of a little over $3,000 for it. The name Tiffany sets hearts racing, but when a Tiffany piece is crafted by Louis Comfort Tiffany himself, it becomes priceless. Louis Comfort Tiffany was an American artist and designer, and the first design director at his family company, Tiffany & Company. The Baroque-style necklace might have slight damage in one of its opals, but that doesn't detract from its beauty. This piece of 18th century history has made the guest one mighty rich lady with a fetching price of between $70,000 and $90,000.
Oh my God. It's a treasure. No, I'm not kidding you. Say that again.
It's strange to hear that people were getting arrested for polygamy when you live in a time where sexuality is being taught to be completely diverse. Back in the 19th century, most Mormon men were ordained to practice polygamy, and while this was the norm for them, the federal government and Utah Territory kicked against it and incarcerated those who practiced it in the Utah Territorial Prison, known today as Sugar House. The guest great-grandfather was one of those who were incarcerated, and while in prison, he had this book, which he passed on to his fellow inmates to write in. Among those who autographed the book was George Quayle Cannon, a high-rank official of the Mormon Church.
If he had lived, more than likely he would have gone on to become the president of the LDS Church itself.
Even with the pages torn apart, the book's value was $3,000 to $5,000. She's got a Colt Army revolver, also called Peacemaker, a magnificent gun from the 1880s. The Colt was one of the most important brands of that century, having a major presence during the Civil War. Having a beautiful gold wash and being very well preserved, this gun is a major collectible for fans of arms. But how much is it worth? On recent evaluations, it's worth $30,000. Beautiful or hideous? When this woman and her husband chose to buy this rug, they were unsure of its physical appeal. However, they bought it anyway. The piece was a scrim for hooked rugs, which originated from New England before spreading to other regions.
One of the most fascinating things as a hooked rug scrim is the detail that you get in the printed cat.
Before they came widely produced during the late 19th century, hooked rugs were done by housewives to create decorative household items. The makers of the guest piece was unknown, and because it wasn't an item that was commonly found in the marketplace, its value was $250. As the wife of a collector, she kept this piece in her home for 40 years, acquiring it at an estate sale in Iowa for $50 to $100. The axe is probably from the 17th century, an Italian piece, Venetian. It has a beautiful acanthus design that helps with the dating and shows the wonder of the artwork. It's made of beautiful and rare wood, probably more used in inside decoration. The axe may have been used for small works, but it's still very conserved. Given the unique building and the decorative style of the piece, it's quite valuable. But what's the appraisal?
I think conservatively, a retail price for this would be between $4,000 and $6,000.
Great. That's very good. Thank you.
An autographed guitar from the World War II era, which was a gift to her husband from special services during World War II, was brought in. During the late 60s, the guitar underwent a transformation when various stars added their autographs to it. Crafted by the K Company of Chicago, Illinois in the mid-1940s, this arch-topped guitar boasts intricate tooled detailing on its front. Now, the real magic happens when we turn our attention to the autographs. Starting at the back, we have legends like Mel Tillis, Hank Thompson, Connie Smith, and Red Foley. Turning it around, we reveal signatures from icons like Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton. Let's see what the value of this piece is.
The added leather work and
the autographs, I would put it more in the range of a collectible worth about $1,000.
I understand. Uh-huh.
A guest showcased an automaton inherited from his mother. It had been given to her mother by a family friend in 1931. Prior to that, it had been displayed at Macy's in downtown San Francisco. The intriguing item was made by a French firm, Lambert. The appraiser identified Leopold Lambert as one of the great makers of French automatons from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. Specifically, this one was a magician automaton, operated by winding it up.
This is a classic. It's a magician. When it operates, he bangs the cone with his wand 2 or 3 times, lifts it, and various things appear.
It also had a built-in music box. These automatons were not toys, but rather decorative pieces to intrigue children. Despite having condition issues, its value was estimated to be around $10,000 to $15,000.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize it would be that much.
Being friends with a minor came with gold benefits for this woman's mother. When the woman was 5, her family lived close to a 49er miner who became friends with them. The gentleman mined gold in Sacramento during the California Gold Rush and gifted the guest mother an unpolished pure gold necklace.
Most of the gold that came from the California finds came up as these little bits of these little flakes, tiny little flakes.
Only a few people were lucky to find gold during the gold rush, and the gentleman must have been one of them to be able to gift out a charming necklace such as this. Given the history of the California Gold Rush, the jewelry valued at $1,500 to $2,500.
I just don't believe that. Well, my mother would be thrilled.
The guest brought a Meiji period incense burner purchased by her husband, which looks like a bald eagle. It was bought at the 80 Braun auction in Oconomowoc in the 1960s or the 1970s. The Meiji incense burner cost $2,100. The incense burner was a product of the collaboration of many skilled artisans and craftsmen who brought their unique expertise and vision to bear on this iconic piece of Japanese artistry. The exquisite details of a Meiji period incense burner suits intricate metalwork, vibrant enamel, and meticulous painting. They also reflect the skill and craftsmanship of the period's artisans. The silver tones employed serve to enhance their designs, imbuing it with an aura of luxury and sophistication. The appraiser commented on its uniqueness. It has a signature which is on the bottom and is inlaid with gold. The appraiser valued the item to range between $15,000 to $20,000. His 92-year-old mother guessed that this was a Scandinavian rug, but he felt it looked more like Native American. Mom was in fact right. It was a Swedish rug made in the late 19th century. The use of a big loom to make the rug indicated that it was sewn roughly about 1880, which was around the time the bigger looms were introduced. Its vibrant color seemed to be natural dye, and the technique used in weaving was called rollicon. These types of rugs weren't widely seen because they were not made as export items.
I've also seen them referred to as carriage rugs, meaning it's sort of the size that would have been made to go over a couple people's laps if they were in a carriage or in an open motor car.
In terms of value, it was placed at $4,000.
Wow. Wow. They're that rare and they're that sought after.
In a detective style, he discovered the original painter, having the painting with him for a long while to discover, and now presenting it for appraisal for the first time. The painting is from circa 1880 by Luis Jimenez y Aranda, a Spanish-French painter, and it represents the naturalist style he adhered to at the time under the influence of Paris. The painting has taken some damage, and the canvas is starting to fall down. But even damaged, this wonderful piece is still valuable. So, how much is it worth?
I think for a piece like this, I think it's a really nice example. At auction, I would expect it to fetch somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000.
Really?
Yeah.
My goodness. I've enjoyed it since a child. I'm thrilled that I got to come on the Antiques Roadshow. Thank you so much.
Oh, not at all. It's my pleasure.
This is the Piazza del Duomo alabaster sculpture. It was discovered in an antique store in Natchez, Mississippi, nearly 3 decades ago. The Piazza del Duomo holds historical significance as one of Italy's earliest cathedrals. This model intricately captures the baptistry, a separate structure from the church, and the renowned Leaning Tower of Pisa. Crafted in the 1890s, it's a grand tour item, a popular creation for European tourists. Despite the initial asking price of $4,000, it was secured for $1,900, and in today's market, the value will be around $5,000. The guest brought a Thaulow painting and a letter attached, which he got from his cousin, narrating an interesting story behind having it.
My cousin from England sent it to me, and she had got it from her mother, and her mother got it as a gift from the artist.
The painting was done by Fritz Thaulow in 1905. He was a Norwegian impressionist artist known for his landscapes, cityscapes, and scenes of everyday life. It's a neighborhood painting. The unique aspect of the neighborhood paintings is their ability to capture the spirit of a community, reflecting the diversity, history, and culture of the area depicted. The letter attached was signed by the artist, dedicating the painting to the guest great-aunt. The artwork had an inscription of the guest great-aunt's name. The brown color in the painting adds warmth, earthiness, and historical charm to the neighborhood scene, creating a cozy and authentic atmosphere. The original frame used makes it look attractive. The appraiser valued it to range between $18,000 to $20,000.
Wow, I'm going to call her tonight and tell her.
Before the spiral jetty was constructed, many contractors passed on the project, except the guest father, who was finally hired by the sculptor of the project, Robert Smithson. The guest father felt the project was so special that he kept the sketches and hung a large photo of the spiral jetty on the wall of their home.
Absolutely. It's definitely a very special place for my family. We went out there.
The spiral jetty is a 1,500-long sculpture built with mud, salt crystals, and basalt rocks on the shore of the Great Salt Lake. Just like the guest father thought, the spiral jetty is a very special project, which made the sketches equally important. They showcased the progression of the project as time went on. The sketches and autographed picture by Robert summed up to a value of $47,500.
That's pretty staggering. I mean, that really would have delighted my dad.
She and her husband bought this painting for $40 in Niles, which ended up being one of the most famous paintings. It was painted in 1877 by Jules Tavernier, a French artist who moved to America. He made illustrations for Harper's and opened a studio in Montgomery Street that became a very visited place, with figures like Oscar Wilde going there. He was a bohemian with an agitated life and died early, but many of his paintings survived. And this one is a clear example of his excellence as an artist. But how much is it worth?
I think comfortably at auction this would make $5,000 to $8,000.
Good. That's great. That's a good investment.
An antique amethyst change purse, which belonged to a New York City native who passed away in 1980, was affectionately referred to as the Mad Money Purse and holds both sentimental and historical value. Crafted in the late 1890s, this piece is a testament to the Gilded Age's opulence. The 10-carat amethyst atop the purse adds a touch of luxury. What's truly remarkable is the impeccable condition of the mesh. Stamped 14 karat on the top, this purse is a hallmark from the renowned Carter Guff Company of Newark. The value of this will leave you shocked.
But no, I don't.
Similar examples retail are between $5,000 and $7,000.
Hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha, I love it.
Guest recounted purchasing the guitar from a pawn shop for $550. Originally, the item belonged to a local country western musician and was made in 1963. The appraiser identified the guitar as a 1963 Gibson ES-355, one of the company's most expensive electric guitars at the time. It featured advanced electronic capabilities, including the latest electronic bells and whistles. Designed for stereo output, signals from different pickups were routed to separate speakers. Artists like Chuck Berry and B.B. King extensively used this model, contributing to its desirability. The appraiser also highlighted the downside, such as the stereo feature, which was not liked by a guitarist.
A lot of people took out the baritone switch, which admittedly doesn't really add much. This sideways vibrato doesn't work nearly as well as the Bigsby vibratos, and so a lot of people would take that off and put on another vibrato or drill holes in the top and put a stop tailpiece.
However, finding original condition models is rare, especially in the desirable red finish. The rare and desirable collector's item was valued to be around.
Would probably sell for about $11,000.
Quite a good investment.
This jug from the 18th century, with names inscribed, were used as milk jugs or general home jugs. From the inspection of the jug, the appraiser guessed that it may have been a wedding present made in Newcastle. The jugs were referred to as creamware due to their cream-colored body. Creamwares were created around 1750 and lasted till the 1840s. Although the guest's jug had a chip at the edge, the local connection and beautiful design made it value between $750 to £1,000. Her parents were antiquarians and bought a desk in the 50s, but you'd never guess what was inside of it. Upon opening the drawer, they found many presidential letters. This particular letter is signed by Abraham Lincoln from Illinois in the 1860s. Usually, Lincoln had many people writing to him, but would not write back. But not in this case, as he wrote to Mr. William Jones, his first employer and mentor in Indiana. The letter is quite valuable, given its historical significance for American history. But how much is it worth?
But a letter of this importance, and with this content and historical importance, would have an auction estimate today of probably conservatively $30,000 to $50,000.
Oh,
so a little bit more than a couple of hundred.
I cannot believe it.
This is an antique gemstone necklace dating back to 1885. The stunning piece belonged to their great-great-grandmother, and their grandmother bestowed it upon them, referring to it as costume jewelry, crafted in 14-karat gold and adorned with an array of tourmalines, peridots, and old mine-cut diamonds. This necklace captures the essence of late 19th century jewelry. It was crafted by Marcus & Company, founded by a former Tiffany & Company artisan. The family engraving makes it a cherished heirloom. The necklace valued at auction between $6,000 and $8,000. A guest brought a glittering yellow diamond ring inherited from her parents. The jewelry was bought at an estate sale from back in the 40s or 50s. With nearly a century of history behind it, the yellow diamond ring retains the beauty. The jewelry was purchased for $500 in the mid-70s. The yellow diamond ring, first appraised in the 70s for $600 and for $15,000 in the 80s, shimmers with a brilliance that defies description. Its ideal cut, clarity, and radiant hue are a wonder to behold. The vintage of the ring, the cutting, and also its style, makes it unique and priceless to be appraised, but the appraisal valued without certificate to be around $30,000, and with certificate for $60,000. Surprisingly, this magnificent clock didn't value much compared to the $3,000 buying price. The owner found the clock at an auction shop in Prague and fell so in love with it that she bought it. Its beauty was definitely enchanting, even for the appraiser. Unlike many others like it, this particular clock was bigger in size. Made in 1915 by a company in Germany called Linskirch, the combination of Art Deco and Art Nouveau styles added to the clock's uniqueness. For such a clock, the appraiser gave a value of
$3,800.
All right, that's great. That's good news.
Very good.
During the Broadway production of Grease, this man worked as a hairdresser for Brooke Shields. At the end of her run, Brooke gave him her dress, which she used on the show. The dress was designed by Bob Mackie, an American fashion designer who is known for designing entertainment icons.
And Dolly Parton said Bob Mackie made her look beautiful and feel like a lady because he was so incredible.
A few weeks after the show's wrap, the guest and Bob Mackie saw each other at an event, and Bob autographed the dress and also sent him a copy of the sketch. The guest pieces and the story behind them was captivating.
And so at auction, I would believe that this would probably bring $7,500.
That's the best gift ever. Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah.
Inheriting from her grandmother, who went to the University of Dakota, she chose this pottery and a yearbook out of her items. The UND, located in Grand Forks, is a historical university founded in 1883. The yearbook has a photo of her grandmother in it as an art student, and this beautiful pottery was a gift made by Margaret Cable around 1926. It's an unusual style of decoration for the university, which adds a lot to the piece. Furthermore, it has a wonderful background history. So, what's the value?
I think because it is an underglaze style of decoration, it's very pretty, that value at auction would probably be between $1,000 and $1,500.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're unveiling a Boy Scout quilt with a rich history. Crafted by the guest great-grandmother in 1936, this quilt is adorned with a collection of Boy Scout patches earned by the guest father during his teenage years. This meticulously crafted quilt showcases an impressive achievement in the Boy Scouts. From a variety of badges to the esteemed Order of the Arrow, they are all captured in this heirloom. Can you guess the price of this item?
Consideration. I would say the quilt itself is worth about $3,000.
Really?
On the retail market.
Oh, wow.
This guest brought a folk art painted chest that was gifted to him by a friend in 1963. This is a fine piece with its origin traced to Old Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts. The well-painted chest was manufactured with poplar wood, mostly found in the mid-Atlantic states. The initials JME on the front and the year inscribed on it indicate that the furniture was made in 1810. Additionally, the painted decorations are incredibly intricate, serving as a remarkable differentiator. While this is an exciting piece, the origin of this furniture is somewhat distorted due to disparities in its structure compared to those made in Massachusetts. This piece is valued at around $8,000 to $12,000.
Because of the regional strengths of those markets.
On getting to an estate sale, this lady realized that it was the home of the American actor Carroll O'Connor. Carroll's daughter-in-law organized the sale after the death of Carroll's wife. When the guest went up to the master bedroom, she picked out this coat that was worn by Carroll in the show All in the Family. Carroll O'Connor gained widespread popularity due to his role as the show's main character, Archie Bunker.
In that episode, when Sammy kissed Archie at the end of the show, that broke the laugh record on that TV program.
With the importance and recognition of the show, the coat's value was $10,000 to $20,000. The owner brought in a black-on-black pottery pot acquired by her grandfather in Colorado. It has a very shiny gunmetal finish, a type of pottery from where it was produced, and still being produced today in San Ildefonso. The pot was created by Maria Martinez, a renowned potter from the San Ildefonso Pueblo. The significance of the signature Marie on the pot is that Maria Martinez is a highly sought-after artist. Despite some wear, the pot is considered to be in good condition. The appraised value of the pot is estimated to be around $3,000, triple the value it might have had with a lesser-known artist.
Nice. Good. Glad you brought it in.
I'll continue to enjoy it.
Is an original manuscript by the legendary Truman Capote. Here, the owner reflects on their role at Playboy magazine.
I used to call myself the rationale editor because everybody says they buy it for the articles. But in fact, in that capacity, I edited a lot of great writers.
The manuscript in question holds the secret of Capote's intimate connection with Tennessee Williams. The manuscript arrives in a distinct Capote longhand, revealing the writer's traditional approach. Longhand manuscripts from the renowned 20th century author are increasingly rare. Capote's distinctive handwriting and the imperfections of the first draft add layers of significance to this literary artifact. The expert appraiser unveils the estimated auction value.
I would safely auction estimate the manuscript at $20,000 to $30,000.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I kept it in my lockbox all these years.
Fantastic. I'm glad you did too.
A sampler was presented by the guest, which was made by her 7th great-grandmother. The appraiser initially identified it as an English sampler and noted its rarity as an American sampler. They examined the sampler, acknowledging the intricacy of the alphabets. The inscription on the sampler mentioned that it was made at the age of 8 in 1685. The appraiser admired the artist's intricate needlework abilities at such a young age. The impressive piece depicted thistles and clover leaves, showcasing the seamstress's skills. The astonishing piece was extremely old, with its journey from Rhode Island to Indiana across centuries.
This piece was already 145 years old. It's so rare, I've never seen one in my 23 years of business.
Given its historical significance, the conservative estimate was,
I would say that, conservatively, that it's probably worth $10,000 to $15,000.
These are iconic photographs of John F. Kennedy, captured by the guest himself. The iconic photographs you see here capture pivotal moments in American history. Here, you can see Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in on Air Force One after Kennedy's assassination. Sadly, the guest also recounts scenes from the horrible assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Horrible assassination. I was in one of the cars in the motorcade, 5 cars back. Heard 3 very distinct reports, sounded like rifle shots.
Now, this particular photograph was signed by Jacqueline and John F. Kennedy as a gift. Moving on to the valuation of these iconic photographs, they were valued at a sum of $75,000. Delicate seashells washed ashore, bathing beauty figurines captivate their intricate details and graceful form. These figurines were showcased on the show by a guest who inherited them from her mother. These delicate pieces are referred to as bathing beauties. Additionally, these figurines are often sold in resort areas near the ocean. It's also worth noting that these sets originated from a company called Galluba and Hoffmann in Germany.
These particular ones are made in Germany by a company called Galluba and Hoffmann.
Interestingly, these figurines are not only small and detailed, but they also have all the original wigs and clothing. They date back to circa 1915. However, there are some minor damages incurred due to the passing of time. Regardless of the few damaged pieces, these figurines are a fabulous collection, and at auction, they would fetch a significant value of...
You would figure about $2,000 for the grouping of them.
Well, great. My mother had them on her mantle with a painting of the Mediterranean behind, and they just look fabulous that way.
This episode hosted an oil painting by Theora Hamblet. Theora Hamblet's signature style includes speckled foliage, broad color expanses, and visionary elements. Here's what the guest has to say about this piece.
And this one was done for a friend of mine's dad who was the Baptist preacher in town. She did this of his 2 little girls. One of the little girls had blonde hair.
Hamblet's medium of choice, oil on canvas, embodies her vibrant and contemplative expressions. Rarely seen in the market, it's estimated to be worth between $6,000 and $8,000.
Probably be in the between $6,000 and $8,000 range.
This delightfully assorted sampler captures the essence of New Hampshire's rich culture. The sampler presented on the show today was made by an 11-year-old girl for the guest husband's great-grandfather's wife in 1824. Originating from New Hampshire, this needlework is truly a fascinating thing to behold. Depicted on this piece are, of course, the intricate needlework, with a variety of colors ranging from green to red and then to brown. It's truly remarkable that this item is in such good condition. This needlework is an important piece of New Hampshire's history, and it's no surprise it's valued at auction at around...
I would go as high as $18,000 for this needlework, and it's...
We have an extraordinary piece, a Chinese altar garniture. The guest parents purchased this set in Yokohama during their summer vacation in the 30s. This ensemble, known as a garniture, consists of a gu, a censer, and cricket candle holders. At auction, This Chinese altar garniture is estimated to be worth $15,000 and $25,000. The exquisite detailing and impeccable tailoring put into this doll are mesmerizing. It was presented by a guest who has been collecting dolls since childhood. But this particular adorable doll was given to her by her mother. This charming piece was made by Francois Gaultier, a French mystery doll maker known for crafting bisque dolls' heads and limbs. On December 2, 1872, he took out a patent for improving molds used in making doll heads. The doll features a swiveling head.
As you'll notice, it has a swivel head.
And it's fabulous to note that it still retains its original costume, wig, and hat. However, the dress shows some visible wears. Owning an item of such age is truly remarkable, and with some minor repairs, it could be as good as new. At auction, this doll would easily be valued at around...
The doll with this fabulous costume would retail for $4,000 to $4,500.
Wow. Thank you, Mom.
A fascinating ornamental turning lathe responsible for Holt's Apfel lathe, a genuine artifact which is very rare to come by, especially complete with its original treadle. This traces back to 1828, owned by the guest's great-great-great-grandfather. Here's what the appraiser has to say about this piece.
To be right. Now, there is actually, the records are known for Holt's Apfel, and it is possible, I haven't been able to do it, but to find out precisely when this was made and who it was supplied to.
Right.
But for that, you need to find the number.
Yes.
Exploring the lathe's tool cabinet, the appraiser discovers original tools signed Holt's Apfel. Can you guess the price of this?
Like this, probably £2,000–3,000.
Yes.
But believe it or not, a box of chisel like this, probably £700–800, something like that. Great stuff.
Thank you very much.
Our guest presents a letter written by Abraham Lincoln to the guest's great-great-grandfather in 1841. The letter is emotionally charged, which is unusual for Lincoln, known for his calm demeanor.
A Lincoln letter of an early date from January 1841. It's not dated, but we're able to find out.
Lincoln writes to McCormick about a man named William Walters, who Lincoln did not like because he was running against Lincoln's dear friend, Simeon Francis, for re-election in 1841. Lincoln expresses astonishment that McCormick would consider voting for Walters, stating,
This certainly cannot be true. It cannot be that one so true, firm, and unwavering as you have ever been.
It cannot be that one so true, firm, and unwavering as you have ever been can for a moment think of such a thing. The letter is undated, but its context indicates it was written in January 1841. The condition of the letter is pristine, and it would likely fetch between...
Something like this would be in the ballpark of $75,000 to $125,000 at auction. What do you think of that?
I had no idea.
Our guest brings in a spice box that has been in their family for generations, tracing it back to 1750. The appraiser identifies the maker of the box as Jacob Weiss, a well-known colonel in Philadelphia of German descent, suggesting that the box was likely made in Philadelphia between 1765 and 1780. The box is made of figured mahogany, which was an expensive wood as it had to be imported. It features rare ogee bracelet feet and a drop pendant, which are unusual and add to its value. The interior of the box contains a drawer with a unique fan design and punchwork.
See that wonderful punchwork in there? Isn't that neat? It's really special. I mean, this is a top end. This is like a deluxe model.
The overall quality and craftsmanship of the box are exceptional, with fine detailing on the dovetails and thin.
Look at the sides here. Yellow pine. That's a locally grown wood. Look at the thinness of them. They're usually about another 1/8 of an inch thicker. See how fine that is?
The appraiser values the spice box at,
let's say, retail $85,000.
Wow.
You know, $85,000 just as it is.
A whimsical whistling bird, which is a delightful creation that emits a whimsical tune when blown through its tail.
It's made as a whistle. You blow through its tail, and it makes a little whistling noise.
The bird's vibrant colors and primitive appearance makes it an eye-catcher. The owner acquired it from a local antique store without really knowing what it was. The bird is just a local pot made for fun, and that's it. After expert scrutiny, the value of this piece is...
I sort of suggest something like about £80.
I see, yes.
The next item was a gift to the grandfather of the owner's husband. He received this as a gift from the Bourbon County Agricultural Society for having the best herd of cattle in 1874.
He was my husband's great-grandfather. He was a cattleman all of his life. He sold a magnificent bull to a gentleman for a huge sum of money. I think at that time it was $35,000.
This silver and glass presentation decanter shines like pearls. On the bottom, W and H represent Wood and Hughes, an American silver company. It is pure sterling silver. The silver holders mask are wonderful and highly decorated. The glass bottles are from Europe, probably Bohemian. Being a historical piece, its value is...
I would say $5,000 to $7,000 for retail value.
I'm surprised. Thank you very much.
Well, thank
That's
you very much
interesting.
for bringing it.
Here is a collection of watercolors and drawings by Yorkshire artist Frederick Cecil Jones. Each piece unfolds a narrative of landscapes, industrial scenes, and the artist's keen eye for detail. They were acquired by the guest husband at an auction 20 years ago. This collection captures it all, from the view of Beverly to Pudsey, and a potential industrial landscape of Halifax. Frederick Cecil Jones was known for his signature printmaking skill in the drawings, making them unique. The value of this collection is estimated to be £15,000 to £20,000.
A lot.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
The guest brought this Rookwood pottery mug to the show. The pottery mug is quite distinctive in the sense that Rookwood produced this mug in varieties of decorative styles ranging from Art Nouveau to Victorian and many others. This particular mug belongs to the late Victorian-styled category and was produced around 1896, courtesy of the date inscription at the bottom. The mug was quite popular at the time because of the transparent brownish color glaze that was used to cover the decoration on the mug. With the mug still in perfect condition without any dents, it should be worth around $1,500 in retail value.
So your mugs are worth about $6,000.
This is an extraordinary Tang Dynasty marble sculpture. It was acquired by the guest grandparents on their trip to China. The sculpture was, however, made within the golden period of Chinese art, the Tang Dynasty. It is also among the first Chinese art to be seen on the Roadshow. The beautiful carving and stunning workmanship tell a lot about the mastery of the carver. It is also made of the finest quality made in the market. This amazing piece goes for between $120,000 and $180,000.
Wow. For insurance purposes. I'm just really pleased.
So it's worth lugging it in here.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
The beautiful piece showcased by the guest was identified as a Handel base lamp. The appraiser highlighted that it was from the company Handel, located in Meriden, Connecticut. The glass shade was manufactured by Frederick Carter Steuben in New York. Dating back to 1915, the shade featured unique and rare coloration. The lamp exhibited a blue background with gold aurine leaves, along with vine decorations and a distinctive rim. Despite some issues with the base's patina, the item was considered special. Due to damage on the base, the estimated value for the lamp was around...
Because of the damage on the base, I'm going to say maybe $6,000 to $8,000.
The guest came with an autographed Arthur Bishop Jeffreys Vikings of the Air painting. He got this painting from his father. His father was an aviation buff, and he got this painting as a collateral from a Lady Neville. The signatures of famous pilots were on it when he got it. The painting was done by Arthur Bishop Jeffreys. We have this incredible scene called Vikings of the Air, an aviation scene. But what makes this oil on canvas so incredibly special, besides its theme, is the signatures. 10 or 12 signatures here. It's just incredible. This is an extraordinary special painting, not just because of the subject matter, but because of the signatures as well. The painting appraised for $10,000 to $15,000.
My dad thought very highly of it.
Contrary to what people thought this box was made for, The appraiser thinks that it was made for decorative things or souvenirs. The box was made out of papier-mache and assumed to have been used as a snuff box. But the appraiser noted that if that was the case, the delicate nature of papier-mache would have shown marks of peeling or burns. The design on the box was of high quality, although the absence of a signature made it difficult to pinpoint the maker. If a signature was present, its worth would have been 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. A remarkable collection of 6 vibrant Civil War battle scenes, inherited by the guest from their aunt, who, in turn, had acquired them from her husband, an avid collector. The collection is part of a renowned series of Civil War prints, originally consisting of 32 different battles. Here's what the appraiser has to say about this.
These were done in the late 1880s and 1890s. Right after the Civil War, people were kind of just wanting to avoid it. By the late 19th century, they finally started to say, well, yes, it was tragic, but we can maybe start to celebrate some of the heroism in it.
These prints, dating back to the late 1880s and 1890s, are the work of Kurz and Allison, a Chicago-based firm. Their bold, mural-like style aimed to capture the heroism of the Civil War. The chromolithography technique, evident in these prints, show their authenticity.
But also you want good margins, and these are all the full margins on them. Now they do have some nicks and a few chips, but that's fairly minor. You wouldn't knock off really anything significant for the condition issues.
With retail prices ranging from $600 to $700 each, the total estimated value of the collection is between $3,600 and $4,200.
Very good.